It's 2026, and the medical establishment still hasn't told you this. There are three biological rules, three precise mechanical switches that specifically target the fat wrapped around your organs, the fat you cannot pinch, the fat you cannot see, the fat that is quietly, systematically destroying your health from the inside out. Marcus lost the visceral fat in 10 weeks. Daniel, 47 years old, type 2 diabetic, 9 weeks. And Yasmin, who spent 20 years being told her belly was just genetics, gone in 18 weeks. Veins showing for the first time in her adult life. In this video, I'm going to hand you the exact 3 protocols we use at Sculpt by Science with over 2,000 real clients. And I'm going to show you exactly why they work on a biological level, not just fitness influencer surface talk. The science is here. The protocol is here. The results are provable. Stay until the end, because Protocol 3 is the one that ties everything together, and it's the one almost every single person ignores. Before I give you the protocols, you need to understand your enemy, because if you don't understand it, you cannot defeat it. Most people think fat is fat. You gain it, you lose it, done. But that is dangerously wrong. Your body stores fat in 2 completely different ways. The first is subcutaneous fat. This is the soft, pinchable layer just beneath the skin. Your belly rolls, your love handles, the softness on your thighs. This fat is metabolically lazy. It's annoying cosmetically, but it is not the primary threat. The second type, visceral fat, is the one that will shorten your life. And here is what makes it so different. Visceral fat doesn't sit under your skin. It wraps itself around your internal organs, your liver, your pancreas, your intestines, your heart. Imagine your organs swimming slowly in motor oil. That is essentially what visceral fat does to your body's internal environment. Why visceral fat is biologically unique. Threat number 1: chronic inflammation. Visceral fat cells are metabolically active. They are constantly secreting inflammatory proteins called cytokines. Unlike subcutaneous fat, which is passive, visceral fat is essentially a malfunctioning endocrine organ. Every second of every day, it is flooding your bloodstream with molecules that inflame your arteries, your brain, and your pancreas. This is why visceral fat is linked to Alzheimer's disease, stroke, cardiovascular events, and certain cancers. Threat number 2: insulin resistance. Visceral fat physically interferes with your body's ability to process insulin. When insulin resistance develops, your pancreas must produce more and more insulin to handle the same amount of glucose. Blood sugar stays elevated. Your body shifts into chronic fat storage mode. This is the direct biological pathway to type 2 diabetes. Threat number 3: hormonal disruption. A 2024 meta-analysis in the journal Metabolism confirmed that high visceral fat volume directly correlates with suppressed testosterone in men and elevated cortisol in both men and women. Low testosterone accelerates muscle loss. Elevated cortisol triggers more visceral fat storage. It is a biological trap. But here is the critically important piece of good news. Because visceral fat is metabolically active, it is also the most responsive fat in your body to the right interventions. You can target it specifically. And that is exactly what we are going to do. A 2024 systematic review of 14 randomized controlled trials confirmed that specific dietary and movement combinations achieve 17% to 41% reductions in visceral fat volume in as little as 10 to 14 weeks, confirmed by CT scan and MRI, without necessarily any significant change in total body weight. Let that land. You can lose the dangerous fat without the scale moving. And the 3 protocols I'm about to give you are built precisely around this research. I call Protocol 1 the Thermal Reset Walk. And I want to be very clear, this is not a generic go for a walk instruction. This is a specific, sequenced movement protocol that exploits a precise window of hormonal vulnerability in your body to target visceral fat first. Let me explain the biological foundation before I give you the execution. Every night when you sleep and fast, 2 critical things happen. First, your liver glycogen, the emergency fuel stored in your liver, is progressively depleted. By morning, after 8 to 10 hours without food, your glycogen tank is running near empty. Second, your insulin levels drop to their lowest point of the entire day. Insulin is your primary fat storage hormone. When it is low, your body is physiologically primed to access stored fat for energy. This is why the morning fasted window is a biological golden hour for visceral fat burning. And walking, not running, is the ideal activity to exploit it. Why walking specifically? Here is something most fitness content gets wrong. Running is not superior to walking for fat loss. Research shows that walking at a moderate pace derives 70 to 80% of its energy from fat oxidation. Running at the same distance shifts toward 40 to 50% fat oxidation because the intensity demands glucose. Walking also keeps cortisol lower than running, and as we established, cortisol directly drives visceral fat storage. Less cortisol during exercise means more fat burned and less fat stored. A 2023 review published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine confirmed that low-intensity fasted walking preferentially reduces visceral fat compared to moderate or high-intensity fed exercise. The specificity here matters. Now, open your health app right now. Check your average daily step count for the last 30 days. Whatever that number is, that is your baseline. I want you to add 1,000 steps per week until you reach a consistent 12,000 to 15,000 daily steps. In our clinical observation over more than a decade, this is the range that produces sustained visceral fat reduction without injury or burnout. Do not jump straight to 15,000 if you are currently at 4,000. Progress is the protocol. And now, here is the game changer that turns a regular morning walk into the thermal reset walk. The thermal reset sequencing method. This is inspired by research from Shinshu University in Japan, originally published in 2007 and since replicated multiple times, showing that alternating intensity intervals during walking produces dramatically superior cardiovascular and metabolic outcomes versus steady-state walking alone. Here is your exact sequence. Minutes 1 to 5, slow, gentle warm-up walk. Activate the joints, let your body wake up. Then alternate, 3 minutes of brisk, purposeful walking. This is 70 to 80% of your max heart rate, slightly uncomfortable. You can speak, but not have a full conversation. Then 3 minutes of comfortable, easy walking. Think window shopping. Repeat this 3 and 3 cycle 5 times. That is 30 minutes of active intervals. Minutes 35 to 40. Cool down. Slow, relaxed walking. Let your heart rate settle. Your total session? 40 minutes. But those 30 interval minutes are where the biological magic happens. The brisk phase spikes your fat-burning enzymes. The recovery phase keeps fat oxidation running without cortisol accumulation. You are creating a rhythmic, thermogenic cycle. Your body's internal temperature and metabolic rate stay elevated throughout. Do 60% of your daily steps in this fasted morning window. Set your dinner cutoff at 8 p.m. Wake up, have a black coffee with no milk or sweetener. Caffeine at 3 to 5 milligrams per kilogram of body weight has been shown to increase fat oxidation during exercise by up to 16%. And walk. 5 months of this. Research shows waistline reduction of 5 to 7 centimeters, VO2 max improvement of up to 15%, clinically significant improvements in blood pressure, blood sugar regulation, and visceral fat volume confirmed by imaging. Before I move to Protocol 2, if this level of research is what you want on this channel, leave this video a thumbs up right now. And genuinely, I am curious, have you tried fasted morning walks before? Drop it in the comments. Your experience might be the thing that keeps someone else consistent. Fat loss is 80% nutrition and 20% movement. You have probably heard that. But what nobody tells you is that for visceral fat specifically, the type of food and the timing of food are equally as important as the quantity. And the reason for this is your gut microbiome. Here is the emerging science that is rewriting the rules of visceral fat reduction. Your gut contains approximately 38 trillion bacteria. These bacteria are not passengers. They are active metabolic participants that directly regulate how your body stores and burns fat, specifically visceral fat. A 2023 study in Nature Metabolism confirmed that the composition of gut bacteria is one of the strongest predictors of visceral fat volume, stronger than caloric intake alone. The microbiome matrix protocol works on 2 simultaneous tracks. Track 1. Eliminate the inputs that feed visceral fat storage. Track 2. Introduce the precise foods that rebuild the gut environment that melts it. Track 1. Eliminating visceral fat's fuel supply. The single most powerful thing you can do for visceral fat is control your insulin response. Visceral fat cells are exceptionally insulin sensitive. When insulin spikes, visceral fat absorbs it aggressively and expands. Your goal is a dietary architecture that keeps insulin low and stable throughout the day. Rule 1. Eliminate ultra-processed foods. This is non-negotiable. I want you to visualize holding a ripe peach in one hand and a bag of flavored rice crackers in the other. Both contain carbohydrates, but they are biologically unrecognizable to your body. The peach delivers fiber, polyphenols, and slow-releasing natural sugars. Your digestive system works hard. Blood sugar rises gently. The crackers, every bit of digestive work has already been done in the factory. The sugars hit your bloodstream like a detonator. Insulin spikes, visceral fat storage activates, and 45 minutes later, you are ravenous again. This is the ultra-processed food trap. Rule 2. Anchor every meal with protein. Protein's thermogenic effect, the calories burned simply through digestion, is 25 to 30% of its caloric value. That means for every 100 calories of protein you consume, your body burns 25 to 30 calories just processing it. Compare that to carbohydrates at 6 to 8% or fat at 2 to 3%. Protein turns your digestive system into a furnace. It also preserves lean muscle tissue during fat loss, and muscle mass is your metabolic engine. Aim for 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. Track 2. The visceral fat targeting foods. These are not generic, healthy foods. These are foods that have been specifically studied for their effect on visceral fat through measurable biological pathways. The 2 key visceral fat drinks. Drink 1. Apple cider vinegar. I know what some of you are thinking, but stay with me because the science has matured significantly. A 2019 study in the Journal of Functional Foods confirmed that 15 milliliters of vinegar before a high-carbohydrate meal reduced post-meal blood glucose spikes by up to 20% and insulin response by 19%. How? The primary compound, acetic acid, does 3 things. It slows gastric emptying, meaning your food leaves your stomach more gradually, preventing the spike. It activates an enzyme called AMPK. Think of AMPK as a master metabolic switch. When AMPK is activated, your cells become dramatically more insulin sensitive. Less insulin needed, more fat burned. Third, acetic acid inhibits certain enzymes involved in breaking down starches into simple sugars, further blunting the glycemic response. Protocol: 1 tablespoon of raw apple cider vinegar with the mother in 250 milliliters of water. Add fresh lemon juice. Drink it 10 minutes before your largest meal. If you are new to this, start with 1 teaspoon and build up over 2 weeks. Do not drink it undiluted. It will damage your tooth enamel and esophagus. Drink 2. Matcha green tea. Not just any green tea, matcha. Here is why. Regular green tea brewed from leaves delivers a portion of its catechins, the powerful antioxidant compounds responsible for its fat-burning effects. Matcha, made from ground whole leaves, delivers the entire catechin profile, including the most bioactive compound, EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate. A 12-week study confirmed that the equivalent of 4 to 5 cups of concentrated green tea per day produced measurable visceral fat reduction, confirmed by CT scanning, with body weight remaining unchanged. EGCG appears to have specificity for visceral fat depots through mitochondrial activation pathways. Protocol: 3 to 5 cups of matcha or high-quality green tea per day. Black only, no milk. Milk proteins bind to catechins and eliminate their bioavailability. Add lemon instead. Drink the first cup 30 minutes before your first meal, and 1 cup 30 minutes before your largest meal. The visceral fat targeting food list. Wild-caught fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, 3 times per week. Omega-3 fatty acids directly suppress the cortisol pathways that trigger visceral fat storage. Kefir, or Greek yogurt, containing Lactobacillus gasseri, daily. A controlled study showed L-gasseri reduced visceral fat area by 8.5% in 12 weeks, confirmed by CT scan. Kimchi, sauerkraut, or miso, daily. Fermented foods diversify gut bacteria and reduce the inflammatory cytokines secreted by visceral fat cells. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, daily. High anthocyanin content shown to reduce visceral adiposity and improve insulin sensitivity. Chia seeds, 1 to 2 tablespoons daily. Soluble fiber forms a gel in the gut that slows glucose absorption and feeds beneficial bacteria. Avocado, daily. Oleic acid content supports adiponectin production, a hormone that specifically breaks down visceral fat. Dark leafy greens, spinach, kale, arugula, minimum 2 servings daily. Magnesium and folate content supports insulin receptor sensitivity. Almonds and walnuts, 1 small handful daily. Combination of protein, fat, and fiber for insulin stability. Whole eggs. The choline in egg yolk supports liver function, critical for metabolizing visceral fat deposits. Seaweed, nori, rich in fucoxanthin, a carotenoid with emerging evidence for visceral fat-specific reduction. Sample protocol day. Upon waking, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in 250 milliliters of water with fresh lemon. Take this before your morning walk. Breakfast, after walk. High-protein fermented bowl. 60 grams rolled oats plus 1 scoop whey protein plus 150 grams plain Greek yogurt, lactobacillus containing, plus 1 tablespoon chia seeds, plus 100 grams fresh blueberries, plus 100 milliliters unsweetened almond milk, plus cinnamon. Prep the night before, 5 minutes. Macros, approximately 42 grams protein, 48 grams carbs, 11 grams fat, 420 calories. The blueberries and chia target visceral inflammation. The Greek yogurt seeds the gut microbiome. The protein activates thermogenesis. Mid-morning. 1 cup of matcha green tea, black with lemon. Lunch. Omega-3 Power Bowl. 200 grams wild-caught salmon, baked or pan-seared, over a bed of mixed greens and arugula, topped with avocado slices, cherry tomatoes, cucumber, and a kimchi side. Drizzle of olive oil and lemon dressing. Macros, approximately 48 grams protein, 22 grams fat, 18 grams carbs. The salmon plus kimchi combination addresses both the cortisol suppression and microbiome diversification simultaneously. Afternoon. 2 cups of matcha or green tea. Small handful of almonds plus 100 grams Greek yogurt with berries. Before dinner. Apple cider vinegar protocol. Dinner. Whole egg plus egg white scramble. 2 whole eggs plus 150 milliliters egg whites, with sautéed spinach, diced tomatoes, avocado, and fermented pickles. Season with turmeric and black pepper. Curcumin in turmeric has demonstrated anti-inflammatory effects on visceral adipose tissue. Macros. Approximately 35 grams protein, 18 grams fat, 12 grams carbs. Total daily calories, approximately 1,600 to 1,900, depending on portion sizes. Total protein, approximately 150 to 175 grams. This is a protocol, not a prison. The framework matters more than the perfection. Protocol 3. The Cascading Fast. This is the protocol most people skip, which is exactly why most people are still fighting visceral fat 5 years into their journey. The Cascading Fast is a structured temporal nutrition approach, a specific combination of daily and weekly fasting windows designed to force your body into a sustained state of visceral fat mobilization. Here is the biological reality. When you eat, insulin rises. When insulin is elevated, fat burning is switched off. Not slowed, switched off. Your body cannot simultaneously store fat and burn fat in significant quantities. So the single most powerful lever you have for visceral fat loss is controlling the duration and depth of your insulin troughs throughout the week. That is what the Cascading Fast does. A 2023 randomized controlled trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine showed that a 16-to-8 intermittent fasting protocol, eating within an 8-hour window, fasting for 16, produced significantly greater visceral fat reduction than caloric restriction alone, even when total caloric intake was matched. The mechanism is the sustained low insulin window, during which the body preferentially draws on visceral fat stores. The 2-layer cascading structure. Layer 1. The daily 16-to-8, 6 days per week. Stop eating at 8 p.m. Break your fast at noon the following day. Your last meal of the day ends at 8 p.m. You sleep for 8 of those hours, so you are only consciously fasting for 8 hours in the morning. This is manageable. It is not heroic. It is mechanical. During your fasting window, you may consume water, black coffee, plain herbal tea, or your apple cider vinegar drink. Nothing with calories or insulin response. Layer 2. The weekly 24-hour fast. 1 day per week. Choose 1 day per week. Many of our clients use Sunday. Have your last meal at 8 p.m. Saturday night. Break your fast at 8 p.m. Sunday. You are sleeping for 8 hours of this. You are consciously fasting for 16 hours. The extended fast drives 3 things that the daily fast cannot reach at the same depth. Autophagy activation. Your body begins clearing damaged cells and cellular debris, a process with profound anti-aging and anti-inflammatory implications. Autophagy requires approximately 16 to 18 hours of fasting to initiate meaningfully. Growth hormone surge. Human growth hormone levels have been shown to increase by 200 to 400% during a 24-hour fast. Growth hormone is critical for preserving and building lean muscle tissue while burning fat. Gut microbiome reset. A full 24-hour fast effectively starves opportunistic gut bacteria and creates a biologically clean slate for the beneficial microbiome you are rebuilding through your food choices. My client Ronaldo, 51 years old, metabolic syndrome diagnosis, waist circumference of 44 inches when he started, implemented this exact protocol. He used Sunday as his weekly 24-hour fast day. By week 6, he reported that Sundays had become his most mentally productive day of the week. By week 14, his waist was at 38 inches, and his physician had taken him off his blood pressure medication. This is how the math works, and this is what makes the 24-hour fast so metabolically powerful. We know that burning 1 pound of body fat requires a deficit of approximately 3,500 calories. If your total daily energy expenditure is 2,500 calories, a 24-hour fast creates a natural 2,500 calorie deficit in a single day, purely by compressing your eating window. You do not need to eat 500 calories below maintenance for 7 days. One disciplined fasting day each week accomplishes more than the daily grind of caloric restriction. Now, here is why this protocol is called a cascade. The thermal reset walk, the microbiome matrix, and the cascading fast are not 3 independent interventions. They are designed to amplify each other. Your fasted morning walk depletes glycogen and drives fat oxidation. Your microbiome matrix nutrition keeps insulin low and gut bacteria aligned throughout the day. Your cascading fast extends and deepens the low insulin window each night, and once per week forces your body into full visceral fat mobilization mode. Break your fast every day, both the daily 16 to 8 and the weekly 24-hour, with your apple cider vinegar drink 10 minutes before your first meal. This primes AMPK, optimizes your insulin response as you transition from fasted to fed, and prevents the insulin spike that would otherwise accompany refeeding. Combined with your fasted morning walks and microbiome matrix foods, you are now attacking visceral fat from every biological angle simultaneously. You are stopping new storage. You are maximizing fat mobilization. You are remodeling the gut environment. And you are creating the hormonal conditions for sustained, long-term results. 3 protocols, 1 system. Every single component is backed by peer-reviewed research. Every single component has been stress-tested on real people with real lives. Not elite athletes, not perfect laboratory conditions. Real people with busy schedules, metabolic challenges, and years of frustrating, fruitless attempts. The thermal reset walk, the microbiome matrix, the cascading fast. Start with 1. Add the 2nd in week 2. Add the 3rd in week 3. Build the cascade deliberately, and it will become self-reinforcing. That is the architecture of this system. Tell me in the comments, which protocol are you starting with, and what is your goal for 2026? I read every comment on this channel. Your answer matters to me, and honestly, it might be the thing that keeps someone else from quitting. If this video gave you something actionable, give it a thumbs up. It tells the algorithm this research is worth spreading, and it helps me keep making content at this level. And if you are serious about attacking this, watch the video I linked right here next. It shows you exactly how to implement these 3 protocols as a genuinely busy person, without willpower or perfect conditions.